Perhaps by now, from your crystal view, you may think I'm passively watching you. From noticing what your creedal living shows, to envying the very dust thus leaves your toes. I'm not a poet, nor do I claim to be well-spoken, but I'll make this clear. This is not a love poem. So don't attach love to this hymn any further. It's just a necklace of words strung by a simple observer. It's interesting, this student-teacher affair, how that first, most historic of hand gestures, our palms in what seemed a momentary clasp, now infinitely amount to everything I'll ever have. Everything I'll ever have? What insanity. What does that even mean, actually? It seems, because of you, by each ticking minute, I'm a hair's breadth closer to the fringes of lunacy. Yet, I continue following you, not because I have nothing better to do, but because I once heard someone confess that you could lead men to God's address. I'll soon expose your tricks, like how your feathery speech is always giving, the way the moon or a flickering candle gives to the faculties closer to soul than sight. Like a soft edge rocking ornament, you're often in one pointed devotion as if sat in divine parliament. It's as though with an accent picket, hardly pausing for a morsel, you're chipping away at my torso. As if the very earth breathing in my chest is as hardened as Arabian ground. I've seen you drowsed by your litanies, yet still attentive to everyone's needs. Drunk in syrupy salawat, yet tuned into my idle talk, as if listening to your master's last cherished words. Like a guide who roams the formless world, yet still mindful of his human flock. I'll pawn my heart to have a look into the book from which you learnt all this. Unless in this case, as the teacher, you are the book, perhaps more important than the subject itself. And whenever I think of your name, not your title, but the very fabric of your living, I see the true emblem and meaning of striving, that the real battlefield is beneath the cage of our ribs. You may be thinking, why on earth is he saying all this? Well, maybe our hearts should do this more often. Maybe we should glorify things just because they are. And perhaps the day you stop being such a mystery, observing you would no longer be my litany. How your hand unfurls to the lonely and fraught, in a hidden form and with no credit sought. How from that cave-like attic of yours, you sprinkle dewy pearls and cures. Like how a sky in eternal spring bestows a sheen of life on barren faces below. And no matter how much I write about you, there is one heartfelt and head-reasoned truth, that all this observing is mere useless fun if the twirl of my pen leads not to the word one. In your presence, your silence makes me see all that you sternly want me to unbe, from titles and ego-caressing lies to foolish soul-tainting wandering eyes. And because I'm often silent in your company, there's a fool who mocks me, calls me a useless firefly. Excuse the pun, but what business does a firefly have in the presence of a blinding sun? Only when I'm sat with you do I hear the bellows of pain and misery whispering into my ear, telling me they are all a great lie. As if standing to the dizzying pleasure of music strings, only then does my skin exclaim the bliss you bring. And on Judgment Day, when skin and bone reform, may our names rise together like Rumi and Shams reborn. I know I'll have to love you now, to earn that right. As our deed proves, lovers will be side by side. But today, I'll keep observing you with pen around, as your name keeps on sizzling cities and towns. From how you pickpocket the idols we carry in our robes, to how you replace them with little candies of hope. For now, I'll bid you farewell, and as with love, I'll share more fragments in time, for love is never finished expressing itself. For love is never finished expressing itself.